ranks, all this rebellion pulling away. Anybody that has sense and understand the time we are living in should be looking for convergence. It's a time of convergence. It's a time of lining up and not breaking ranks. These are not those days. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? Lift up your hand, pray in the spirit just for a second about it. Because in Jesus' mighty name. My God, I need to run. So at least let me give you solutions. But remember, you may be seated. Because sometimes I'm not able to read. Remember that discernment is part of the tool required to be able to do. And that's what happened with Paul. It took him a few days, but he finally was able to tell what is going on here. And then he dealt with the spirit. And remember, to tackle this, don't go dealing with a human being first. You will pour fuel in fire. Things will escalate. Bind the spirit first. After that, you can now do whatever needs to be done. Hello? It's a spirit. It's not a person. But it works through a person. Deal with the spirit first. If you don't, you get into that, you can have some of the worst church crisis you have ever seen. Or crisis in your ministry. Because the spirit of Jezebel is a spirit of false accusation. It can cook up anything, any lie. It brought a garment and was saying, this boy raped me or attempted to rape me. That's Joseph. Joseph landed in prison. Look at what she did to Naboth. Cooked up stories, got witnesses to actually authenticate it. Money, what paid witness to authenticate where, yes, this man did blasphemy against, and they took the guy to the Israel and executed him. He can cook up things on social media, cook up things, and when people see this girl looking so innocent and so, Ken Hagin said, anytime, anybody, anywhere, male or female, political power or not, rises up against the ministry of a servant of God, and you know that God called a real man of God. Anytime anybody, whether it's media or whatever, a spirit being is behind it. He said a group of believers should join hands and cut off that spirit. And then you watch that thing, it will dissolve and vanish. Nothing will come out of it. I don't care if it's government, I don't care. There is something propelling them, giving them momentum. Cut it off. And then like a piece of cloth that the person wearing it has gone, the thing will drop and collapse. What happens is because of the problems on the ground, we get emotional, we get into. And we react in the flesh, then things escalate. And a lot of men of God get wounded, some mortally. Some ministries go through confusion that they can't explain. Because the goal, why does Jezebel attack? There are 7 reasons. I'll just tell you 2 or 3. One of them is to cut off a revival. Just to cut it off. It would like to join from inside. And then the other one is to pollute the anointed. And then level them. All those price you have been paying in prayer, right? It just level you down. You know what you do to a tire? Deflated, like football, like balloon, just to puncture it and deflate all the oil. Then you go back to. Other times is to cause a scandal and a confusion that many times people don't recover from. Sometimes what she targets is the source of your supply, like resources. A particular bishop I went to go and rescue. I noticed how that particular one did the job. Just targeted all the key sponsors, all the key whatever, after dislodging all of them with lies and then polluted them, disconnected them. He left the man without his strength. Just exactly what they did to Samson. If not to destroy your spiritual strength, and they can't get to that, they want to wipe your spiritual vision and leave you blind now. The oracles are gone or cut off. In the case of Solomon, look at Solomon ended up losing that dynasty, losing all those things. And the consequence continued till the temple got destroyed. Anywhere God is moving, doing something great, she is the greatest enemy of revival. One of the deadliest one was in the church in Thyatira in the New Testament. And Jesus called her Jezebel. Jezebel is not her name. He just identified the spirit. Jesus was the one that dealt with that one. He called her Jezebel. Jesus also dealt with the one John the Baptist dealt with. Because I hope you know that Elijah too and Moses came on the Mount of Transgression to hand over to Christ. The law and the prophets. Okay. So, the moment John was beheaded, Herod said, "Is somebody I'm hearing about. I want to kill him too. I can tell you who is responsible for that decision. Herodias." You see what Elijah did? Or retreat. Jesus went on a retreat in the desert. A lot of people followed him. And after he sent a message, he said, "Go tell that fox." Today I will say, "Go tell that serpent, I cast that devil today, and tomorrow, on the third day, I will be perfected." Then he made a powerful statement. While I told you need to study history, he now said, "For a prophet cannot die outside Jerusalem." So he knew that history has shown that Jerusalem is the city of blood where they kill all the prophets. So from that moment, he stayed away from it. There are some things we have seen, There are some things we have seen. And God showed me one city to stay away from. Yeah. He stayed away from it. And anytime he had to go at all, he has to be under special preparation with certain. So when he completed his assignment, it was now time. He now went to Ogbueli and did triumphant entry. A higher limousine, higher siren, you people want to see me here. When he looked like they were not doing, he flogged some elders in the temple. Even the Judah, he said, "What you are going to do quickly. We are not afraid. I have finished my assignment." Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? You will not die till you finish God ordained mandate for your life. Nothing will be able to terminate your destiny, your mandate, or your anointing. In the name of Jesus. Let me give you two more counsel concerning Jezebel. Raise others with understanding of what the Spirit is. Raise others. I will take care of it, like the empowerment of Jehu and others. But when Jehu finally came, the Bible says she painted her face. She saw Jehu from the window. Actually, her son, who was king, was the first to meet Jehu. They ran down to come and meet him. "Have you come in peace?" He said, "How can there be peace as long as two things remain? Number one, the whoredom of your mother." Should I show it to you? As long as the whoredom, that's the immorality of your mother, remains. And then number two, as long as her sorcery and witchcraft, how can there be peace? Stop pampering a snake. You see, why a lot of ministers get into this mess is that she knows how to provide some things men like. know it was food that was the original cause of man's fall. So if stomach is part of your problem, he knows how to. So one of the key to dealing with Jezebel is severe all forms of relationship with her. That is the advice God gave to the church in the book of Revelation 17 and 18 about the last days Jezebel. There is one more Jezebel that is going to be one of the greatest problems of the last days church. Look at what she has done to the Western churches. The church in Europe. Look at what she's doing to the church in America. Do you know who removed the Bible from schools? One woman. As a matter of fact, in our mission to the West, God told me, even though you might be Elijah-like, don't deal with this directly. Train Jehu, train Hazael, train. Then he said, train Esther, because Esther is the nemesis of Jezebel. The best answer to her are women. Women of prayer, women of consecration, women that are trained in the prophetic, women that are also kingdom. Just like hell trained agents, heaven also has agents. I don't know any kingdom without secret intelligence. Train Jehu, but he said also train your Deborahs and Esthers. There are certain things. So that's there are some deadly things we're doing in the Western Hemisphere, but is lady warriors that will put at certain strategic places where they will say those things they say nobody will say, and nothing happens. I say they want to come because the system is Jezebelian now. She has entrenched herself in power and created policies and laws, and are throwing people in prison for righteousness. So I'm training them to recover the school system. I'm training them to recover the different system, because I don't know what it is about us. They fear women. Are you guys hearing what I'm saying? These women that can defeat her are women under covering. They are trained in divine ordinances. And when they come with it, because the order is a Babylonian system that she is promoting, they don't have a chance. Zion is superior any day to Babylon. And intercession is superior any day to witchcraft. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? But I'll give you one more advice. I need to go. There's so much here. I said I'll answer 5 questions. I didn't deal with all of them, but at least let me tackle one more so I can give this advice. Okay, let me give the advice. I'll answer that question. This one more advice is, Apostle, I have found out that Jezebel draws her power to destroy lives from the position of influence, position of authority that she is given. So when Jesus dealt with the New Testament Jezebel, the one that had polluted the church of Thyatira, slept with a lot of the men of God there, did a lot of introduce, even the mystery of Balaam too there, even food sacrificed to idols. Because they start giving you food. When they see that food is your weakness, they won't tell you other things they add to that food. So you see a man that is supposed to have sense misbehaving. I went on a rescue mission somewhere where you see see decisions. Nobody can make this decision who has ordinary sense before you talk about. But this is a leader. So I said, are you all right? What's going on? And then I knew what it was. We have to cut off the snake inside the garden. So Jesus recommended that you remove her from office. He said, you are the one that allowed that woman to be prophesying and to be teaching. As long as you give her influence. Whether it's to be leading your women and be multiplying Atalia for you. Whether it's to be leading men. If a woman will lead men, let her be under authority. Let her be under covering. The New Testament has a lot of writing about this subject. And this here I'm going to say something. All of you that want to live long in your mandate, take note of what I'm about to tell you. Because once you create the system and the enemy sees that that room is there, he will make an attempt to enter. Adam was told in Genesis chapter 2 verse 15, tend the garden and keep it. Keep. So if you check the word keep in some other translation, it said guard, protect. So the work of a spiritual leader, a pastor, a leader of a ministry is not just to feed the people, tend them and nurture them, but to protect. You have to protect your mandate. And I want to show you what it is. It is that second instruction that Adam did not do. So the snake walked in and was now talking with his wife. Before you lose a mandate God gave you, you have been permitting snake for a long time. And I need to tell you something about this, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies in ministry, let me give you a secret. There is an ancient order for women in ministry. Paul wrote about it. Some people call Paul women hater. No, he's not. He's giving you the revelation of the New Testament, how we are going to operate this dispensation and finish well. Paul wrote about that divine order. Many others. So the things direct sons, because I learned the American model where you create a superstar in church. Because I saw men of God who did it. They create superstars in church in the name of women ministry. They want their wife to be a superstar. All those Americans that did it, all of them, if they are not dead, they are walking on one leg. They are paralyzed. Some of them have been ruined. What you're copying has destroyed more ministries than you know. Of course, there is a very good friend of mine. When I was also trying to get married, about 5 of us were friends in school. He's one of the most outstanding, gifted young ministers in this country. We were all on campus doing our, and then, God brought us into relationship. But he married first before me. In those days, we were all going for half caste. Not one of them is in marriage now. Not one. I'm the only one still in marriage. Do you know the person that saved me? Because I also went for my own half caste trained in the UK. Do you know who saved me? As I was now getting ready, one day I came to his house. He said, let me tell you, Pastor David, you're making a big mistake. You're copying me. Come inside and sit down. Let me tell you what is going on. Later, marriage went. But he told me this years before. And he gave me things to start watching. And I started watching. He said, this is not my... We did this for public. I know who God told me that was my wife. But, because part of the vision is that we're going to reach the world and the Caucasians and all of that. So we needed some type of arrangement that will make it easy to penetrate. He was the one that saved my life, but later the fathers now put it as an instruction into my head. He said, this is what Pahatin taught them. He said he believes in women ministry and all of his whatever. He's one that brought that ordinance. But he thought that they must take their God-ordained place. Because Adam was not deceived. And what the serpent does is that he won't come through the gate of authority. He goes through the back door. It doesn't come through. It doesn't. He won't deal with Adam. He will deal with you after you're fallen. But he won't deal with you in your office. He goes through the back door. You can tell a snake, you are put in charge of this house. But instead of coming, talk to, no, he will go behind and be looking for.